Hi there, this is Dominique Desjardins Craig, and for today's video, we're going to talk about Donald Trump having negotiated a peace deal in the Middle East, and we're going to talk about Joe Biden, who is continuing to lose. Now, I saw Joe Biden on TV today, I saw him on TV yesterday. He's got to get into the game. He's way behind. Mike Pence is kicking butt. Donald Trump is kicking butt. Donald Trump was in California. I think he made two, maybe three stops. And then he went back to Arizona where he had made, was it Arizona? And then he also did like two in Nevada. Donald Trump is kicking butt, man. He's really getting it done. And then today, from the White House, he had a historic peace deal negotiated and signed between Israel and one of their Middle East enemies. And this is significant. This is important. He's bringing the troops home, and all of this is very important. Now, you got to take a look. Under Donald Trump, the United States is number one in oil and gas. Number one. So, as a result of being number one, we don't have to fight another nation's wars. We don't have to involve ourselves militarily um, for strategic positioning to get a share of the resources. We don't have to do any of that. So we're able to bring the troops home. Now, you have to understand, by contrast, when Obama and Biden were in charge, the Russians were number one in oil and gas. Vladimir Putin and the Russians, they were number one in oil and gas. As a result of that, the United States had to basically fight the wars of Saudi Arabia to protect our share in the oil for the resources. This is how we got involved in Syria. This was part of the illegal coup in the Ukraine. That was really about blocking the pipeline. Saudi Arabia wanted to run a pipeline through Syria, and Syria said no. And well, anyway, because we're number one in oil and gas, we don't have to fight Saudi Arabia's wars. This saves American lives. This saves American money. This is just good news. So that's what's going on. Now, I also want to talk about Joe Biden. This guy, his campaign is so weak that they basically just have to make up stuff and react to it. So they made up this lie that somebody overheard Trump call the troops losers. And now you get Sleepy Joe out there trying to act all fake offended. And in the middle of his fake offense, he wants to talk about his son who is no longer with us. May he rest in peace. But Joe Biden, what about your son who is here with us? Where is Hunter? What about Hunter? What about Hunter? How much money did Hunter get from the Chinese? Joe Biden? Is it true that he used this money to buy up companies in the United States that were of strategic importance to the Chinese military? Is that true, Joe Biden? I mean, the Ukraine thing too. We all know about Burisma. Where's Hunter? What about your son who is still alive, Joe Biden? So right now, the Democrats, they're trying to act fake offended over a made up lie that was published in a magazine called The Atlantic, which I don't know if anybody still reads magazines anymore, but this is where they are. They're down to the point of having to make up lies and then respond to their own made up lies. Now, every time you see a Trump rally that the Democrats are trying to block, right? You see, there's no social distancing, there's no masks. These people, right? You know, but then, and there's thousands of them. By contrast, you look at Sleepy Joe, the Democrats have already put him out to pasture. I mean, he's out here giving an address in the tall grass by himself. And I mean, I'm not making that up. He literally was out there in the tall grass getting bit by mosquitoes, telling lies. I mean, that's Joe Biden for you. This guy. So anyway, Trump is kicking butt, and Biden is out here lying and hiding, and he won't answer questions. Kamala Harris won't answer questions, and you're not allowed to ask questions. If you question whether or not Kamala Harris is black, you get kicked off of Facebook. I got a 30-day ban the last time for publishing the slave records, the names of the 200 slaves owned by Kamala Harris's family. It was a record, not an article, a record. I published the record. I don't know how a record could be against community standards, but I got a 30-day ban for that. You're not allowed to question whether or not she's African American. Now, once again, I published her birth certificate where she was born a Caucasian. And not that any of this matters, okay? And we know she's called herself an Indian American and so on and so forth, but now all of a sudden, now that they need the black vote, now she's black. And black men are not buying it. Between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they've locked up about 2 million black men. So we're not buying it. We're not buying that she's black. So that's what's up with her. She's also not answering any questions. So you got these two, Sleepy Joe. I mean, and when he does answer questions, they're so totally scripted. This guy reading from a teleprompter, he's so weak. Kamala Harris would run all over him. We would have Queen Kamala running the country. And the reality is, she's not even eligible to be in the race. She was born in Oakland, and that does make her a citizen. But to be president, both of your parents have to be naturalized citizens. Both of her parents were here on a student visa. She is an anchor baby. She is not eligible to serve as president. You publish any of this on Facebook, yeah, you get a 30-day ban. You get a 30-day ban. So anyway, that's what's up. Black men are walking out. I think it was a huge mistake to pick Kamala Harris. She is very unpopular with blacks. Very unpopular with blacks. And she's also very unpopular with Democrats. I think she got like 3% of the black vote. So it was a huge mistake. So now you got Joe Biden. And here's what's up with the Democrats. Now they're trying to creep away from Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They're trying to creep away. At first, there were peaceful protesters fighting for their rights, and the Democrats were on their side. And the mayor of Portland came out and tried to talk to them face to face and tell them that he supported them, and that the Democrats were on their side. Say their name, right? And all this, and then the polls turned. The polls turned. I mean, the polls turned. The defund the police thing, black people don't want to do that. Black people don't want to defund the police. They want more police and school choice. So, well, black people, mostly black men, began to support Trump. I mean, anyway, so we have Donald Trump, and we have a choice to make. Do we want school choice in our communities, or do we want more of the same? And well, we need to focus on what we're getting. What we're getting with Donald Trump is school choice. We're getting borders. We're getting an end to sanctuary cities. Donald Trump already passed police reform, sentencing reform, sanctuary, funding for historically black colleges and universities, opportunity zones, Yeah, he's getting it done. He's getting it done. But the Democrats would have you believe that he's a racist. Well, okay, if he's a racist, then well, how is Biden not a racist? And Biden openly supported segregation, openly hung with segregationists, openly hung with people who owned plantations. They still had plantations back then. Joe Biden, Joe Biden, who wrote the crime bill. And the reason that he's trying to bring that up, first, he tried to run away from it by tacitly supporting Black Lives Matter and Antifa. He would have members of his staff bail them out of jail so that they could continue their reign of terror. The Democratic DAs wouldn't prosecute. After a while, police the police stopped coming to work, started retiring. Portland asked for the state police to come. The state police told him no. You know the mayor of Portland I'm talking about. Is it the mayor is also the police chief. Like, oh my goodness, this guy, what a joke. So once the public decided that they wanted safe streets, and that was more important to them than any of the garbage that the Democrats were selling, Joe Biden had to do an about face on Black Lives Matter. And now he's kind of saying, okay, those who do the violence should be punished. He's, kind of with that, but he still refuses to mention Black Lives Matter and Antifa. So Joe Biden is losing. Black people are walking out on the Democrats. Latinos are walking out. Latinos are walking out for different reasons. Many Latinos are Catholics. Catholics are pro-life. They can't vote for any candidate who supports abortion. Many Latinos have come here from, well, Cuba, Venezuela, countries that either were outright communist or practicing a form of communism. And they see it happening over here, coming over here, and they want no part of it. And the Democrats, with their identity politics, deciding that all Latinos are going to be Democrats, and they want social programs and sanctuary cities and other. That's just ridiculous. That's just as ridiculous as thinking that all blacks are going to think the same way. We just want programs and handouts, and Trump is a racist, and no, we're not having it. We're not having Kamala Harris, and we're not having Joe Biden. And I'm voting for Trump, and that is our time together. I'd like to thank you for watching.